performed with the press to shield him from any and all scrutiny, it becomes abundantly apparent that the presidency of this harmless grandpa is a grave threat to the hallmarks of American freedom. Now, it should have been obvious when Joe effectively called the ethnic cleansing and forced slave labor of the Uyghurs in China's cultural norms, but the mainstream media declared it a gaffe, not a stunning betrayal of American leadership. It should have been obvious when his administration tried to blame the border crisis on President Trump's border policies, which defied logic since the data clearly shows the crisis began after the Biden administration reversed the Trump policies they claim caused the problem. But this week he stood up and in a stunning admission confirmed what appears to be the new mindset of the left, that no amendment is absolute. In fact, as it relates to the Second Amendment, he said it was clear the Constitution never intended for certain people to even be able to have guns. So I just want to say here clearly that's arguably the most terrifying sequence of statements a president has ever uttered in our lifetime. So a quick trip down memory lane here. There are 27 ratified amendments to the Constitution. Every single one of them expanded freedom for all Americans, except for one. It was the 18th Amendment. It marked the beginning of prohibition, and all it did was create a black market alcohol organized crime underbelly that nearly destroyed this nation. It was so bad we had to repeal it with the 21st Amendment, and yet the vestiges of that ill-gotten decision, the mob, well, they still exist to this day. Now, as for certain people not being allowed to have weapons or enjoy certain rights, well, if you don't know, Joe, he's talking about me and people that look like me. He's also talking about women. He's talking about people who weren't granted the full benefits of this nation because this nation had not yet become the best version of itself. And so you see, while the left is talking about Jim Crow voter laws down in Georgia, President Biden is citing antebellum times as justification to undermine not just our Second Amendment rights, but all of our rights. Which is why I don't think it's a coincidence that right after these statements made by Joe Biden, he announced a commission to explore options around changing the nature of what the Supreme Court is actually going to entail. Which, by the way, is another one of those campaign promises that people thought were foolish. So it's time to put the memes away. The jokes about Grandpa tripping up the stairs to nowhere, they were funny. The mangy mutts in the White House biting people, pooping on the carpet, yeah, they were comical. But playtime is over, folks. It's time to get to work. Because while we're busy laughing, trying to feel better, trying to feel like we're not hopeless, the left and their figurehead in chief, they're driving us into a ditch we may never be able to escape.